So a few years ago, I started to notice one of my friends made a lot of joking insults and that they were all very similar. At the time, I had been messing around with a bot for a Discord server, so I added functionality to the bot to randomly generate insults based on the words he used fairly often. And that bot was a hit among my friends, and we ended up using it fairly often. And recently, I decided to revisit this insult generator with two new concepts. The first was a new procedural system to randomly generate a sentence by combining different phrases labeled as different parts of speech, and the second was to use the Google Sheets API to allow anyone to make generators of their own without any coding whatsoever. So let's take a look at how the system works. Alright, so this right here is the Google Sheet that is being used. And you can see here, let's look at this first item. You're more, and then this little phrase in brackets, ADJ minus. Now that phrase also happens to be the title of this column, and that's clearly not a coincidence. So, as the reader goes through here, it sees this ADJ minus in brackets, and then it goes and chooses something random from this column. And then we also see this noun phrase absolute value bar noun minus. That means choose randomly between noun phrase and noun minus. So if we see noun minus, right, we get another list. Or if we look at noun phrase, you can see, and this is what I think is really cool about this whole idea, is something else with noun in it. So that means you go from here, possibly to here, and then possibly to here, and then back to here. So, that means it could be you're more rotten than a poor excuse for a fungus. Or it could just say you're more rotten than a fungus. And that versatility, that recursively going through and going to different columns based on what is in each column, is what makes this so versatile and able to generate a really large variety of insults. So now I can say something like, don't fight me, referral. Okay, so I need to find referral. So, don't fight me, you... Alright, so noun, you melon, and then actor. You don't fight me, you melon liquor. See, that's great. And all these just keep being generated, and that also could have been pickle jar supporter, or 2% milk carton maker, things like that. And all of them generally work. So that's how it generates all these diverse different insults. So once I made this Google Sheet of insults and insulting words, I went off to code a button that would read this sheet the way I said and make some dumb insults. Alright, so here's what I have so far. So I have that Google spreadsheet with all of the insults and that cool formatting over in another window, but here's what I have. This is ported over from my old insult generator with ideas I've come up with, some things based on things other people have said. So even a subhuman maker is more mediocre than you. Not that great. You act like a hamster. Interesting. Even a pickle eater is more mediocre than you. That's not supposed to happen. Alright, so I've made some edits to the insult generator. I have made it look better, and I've updated the grammar a little bit. Might update it a little more later, but I've gone through some of this, and some of these are great, so I'm just gonna generate more of them. So, you're even more incoherent than a subhuman head. You're so worthless you can't even beat a son of an infection. You really eat my insect. You're the very epitome of a rat, spoonhead. I love that one. You're a complete neoplasm. You're the very epitome of an infection, you little failure of a neoplasm. Eat yourself, you sad excuse for a spoon. You're so insidious, you can't even please an utter puddle. Steel yourself, spoon-headed noodle. You're like a 2% milk carton, but even more generic. Ooh, that's a good one. You're more soggy than a burger. Depends on what burger, but I guess generally they're soggy. Please yourself, burger-fingered 2% milk carton. You're nothing more than a pile of skeleton, aren't we all? You're about as mediocre as a rat. Yeah, rats are pretty mediocre, I guess. You're an utter and absolute spoon. I love that one. I love the phrase absolute spoon. It's amazing. That's a good one. You're even more fat than a pile of vomit. They can't all be winners. You're nothing more than a lump of soup. Oh, I love that. A lump of soup. That's amazing. You're like an insect, but even more toxic. It depends on the insect. You're so ancient, you can't even kill a malignant burger. I really hope I never have to kill a malignant burger. That would be pretty bad. You're an utter clown. Occasionally it just gives you a simple one like this, and it's nice. You're an utter clown. Don't kill me, you gremlin eater. That implies that you can. Would that make the one speaking a gremlin? I don't know. I'm thinking too far into this. I know for a fact there's no intelligent thought behind it, because I made it. You're about as understanding as an insect. Ooh, that's good. You are a puddle eater. Okay. You're the very epitome of a subhuman, you little son of a soup. You're like a clown, but even more decomposing. Decomposing clowns. Don't like that thought. Don't like that thought at all. You're nothing more than a limp pickle jar. You're like a failure of a corpse. Ooh, that one's good. It's good you're implying that they should be dead but aren't. That's really fucking good. If I actually insulted people on a regular basis, I would use this. Maybe I should try them on strangers on the street. But that's not all. The advantage of the system I described is that it works not just for insults, but for any type of sentence, phrase, or even word that you want to randomly generate. So to prove it, I added 3 other settings for the insult generator. The first was what I like to call a stupid word generator, things like sprongle or dorfus, or other stupid sounding things that are not real words. Let's take a look at how that went. Alright, so here come the random words. Let's look at some of these. Cogicus. Bakes. Dane. That would surprise me if it's not a real word. But then again, it might be completely made up. I don't know. Nangle. Trailipple. Skeloutal. That looks like French. Trogarnal. Troutgarnal. Tree treple. Peggy. Pup. Well, that's a thing. Scoff, but spelled wrong. Shokik. Kabungle. Shoes. Straight-triangle. Caw. Shage. Drawer cake. Fip. Cabe. Then later, I decided to make a game idea generator. It combines genres and ideas to make sometimes unique, sometimes funny, and sometimes incredibly stupid ideas. Let's take a look. Alright, so now we're on to the game idea generator. This was partly a joke, and partly sometimes it comes up with a decent idea, actually. This one actually seems like a decent one. Genre-shifting hidden role game. It's like you gotta do a bunch of stuff in different genres. honestly just sounds like Among Us tasks, but more complicated now that I think of it. But anyway, open world casual roguelike game. That is fair. These two descriptors are like the least likely game to be casual. But there's a challenge for someone. Go ahead, try it. Tactical co-op platformer game. I suppose that could be interesting. Wonky animal-based racing. So, Goat Simulator. Battle Royale game where if you draw, you must also type. Yeah, that one's stupid. Casual typing game with a wonky control scheme. How do you have a wonky control scheme on a typing game? What, you gotta use like a non-standard keyboard? Wonky chaotic third-person shooter game. Alright, well, those kind of exist, but yeah, I mean, hence it being a decent idea. First-person chaotic sandbox game. So, Minecraft Lucky Blocks mod. Survival game where if you mine, you also must draw. That's stupid. It's like Space Invaders, but it's an online multiplayer visual novel game. Now that is a difficult challenge. Not a good idea, necessarily, but a difficult challenge. Online multiplayer visual novel is hard enough, but you have to make it like Space Invaders in all aspects except that it's online multiplayer. Maybe it's doable. I don't know. I wouldn't try it, but have fun if you want to. Puzzle game with hidden role elements where you can eat the map. I put eat in there because sometimes it's kind of funny. This doesn't make any sense. It's like Final Fantasy, but tactical. Hey, that was an actual game. There we go. This is an actual game. Final Fantasy Tactics. There you go. This was a game. This existed. It generated a real game. I am accomplished. My job here is done. And the final mode is the custom mode. That means you can make your own word or phrase generator, insult or otherwise. Feel free to use my Google Sheet as a model and try it out. Here's how. First, click Custom in this dropdown. Then, copy the sharing link to your Google Sheet. Paste it here, type the name of the sheet you're using, and click Load, and then your custom generator will be loaded. Have fun with this. I have the link to this, the source code, and the sample spreadsheets available in the description. If you want to see what other cool things my text generation script can be used for, go ahead, knock yourselves out. Hey, welcome to the end of this video. Thanks for sticking around. It'll probably be a while before my next one, as I'm heading away from home to college. Nonetheless, if you subscribe and stick around, I'll be sure to keep updating you on other games and cool projects I'm making. See you sometime soon.